Well, I'm Shirley Terry Bates. I'm the director of the radiography program, and we're going to talk about the application selection process. Let's discuss three things. We're going to talk about the program admission requirements, we'll talk about the interview, as well as the selection acceptance process for the program. So at this point, the program admission requirements, in order to interview for the program, you have to have a 2.7 or higher overall GPA. Secondly, is that if you've taken any college level courses that are more than 10 years old that adversely affected your GPA at that time, you can request that I recalculate your GPA to only include courses from the last 10 years. But please let me know that before your interview so that can be calculated. Next, you have to complete prerequisite courses prior to fall 2011 with a C- or higher. Those courses include all those that are listed on this board: A&P1, A&P2, microchemistry, statistics, introduction to allied health, and patient care and assessment. And you want to complete those prior to fall 2011. The next thing is you'll have a maximum of 6 credits, no more than 6 credits, that you'll be carrying into the program. What that means is that if you have extra histories or English or something like that, you can take those during the program, but it is not recommended because you have a lot of program courses to take. The next thing is, as you already have completed, you had to do 10 observation hours at a minimum. And I know you've completed that by this point, but 20 hours were strongly recommended, and they must have been completed within the past 6 months to count. The group advisement appointment that you'll be having next will be advisement. Secondly, you'll have a written statement that you'll be doing. And third, you'll be scheduling your interview at that meeting. And you've already scheduled that meeting. One of your questions for that written statement that we'll be asking is, explain why you have chosen radiography as your career choice. So keep that in mind as you're preparing for that meeting. During your interview, what you'll find is that we're going to be doing those scheduling those during the group advisement appointment, where you'll see a sign in front of the ETSU NAE Center that will request you to have a seat outside the NAE Center conference room so you can be called in for your 10-minute interview. There'll be 2 ETSU faculty and 1 clinical instructor at your interview. They'll be present there. What we'll be asking about your observation hours, basically what happened during those hours, and the remainder will be about you or your work or school experiences. My advice is to be yourself, be honest, have a positive attitude, and answer the questions asked. Talk with us and really try to let yourself come through, and humor does always help during those interviews. Try to keep it light. The interview itself, why do we interview? It's just to see if you really observed. I mean, the big thing is if you've observed and we can see that comes through, you're really interested in radiography, we want to know that that's something that's about you. We want to assess your communication skills and get to know you. The selection process for the program is that the admission is really a competitive process. It's based upon these criteria. The criterion are 40 points is your science GPA at the end of the spring semester 2011. The 35 points is your overall GPA at the end of the spring semester 2011. Okay, it'll be 10 points for your interview. 10 points is the program-specific criteria for radiography. That's our observation hours. And that's 1 point for each hour completed over 10, up to a maximum of 10 points. And so the idea would be to do 20 observation hours is highly recommended. And finally, 5 points is your written statement. The science GPA is you're strongly encouraged to complete the following science courses at the end of the spring semester 2011. These 4 courses are the ones that we use to calculate that science GPA: A&P1, A&P2, microbiology, and chemistry. And that's where you get your 40 points. Okay, so for example, if you have a 3.0 science GPA with 2 A's and 2 C's in your science courses, we would take 3.0 divided by 4. So the total possible GPA would be 4.0. We would take 3.0 divided by 4.0 and multiply that times 40 to get your science GPA. Or Another example would be if you did have a 4.0 for your science GPA, we would take 4.0 divided by 4.0 because it's the possibility, highest possible points is that 4.0, the maximum number, times 40 to get those number of points. And so in this case, of course, you'd have 40 points given to you for your score. In this case up here, you would have 30 points. So it just depends upon whatever your GPA is, and we'll divide that by the total possible GPA, highest possible GPA. The same thing applies to your overall GPA, is that we would take your GPA, your overall GPA, divided by 4.0, and then multiply that times 35 points. And so that's exactly how your GPA points are calculated. Keep in mind that that is worth 75 points of your acceptance as your GPA. So your GPA is very important in this whole process. Regarding your GPA, it's very important that you bring a copy of your unofficial transcript to me at the NAE Center. You could fax it, you can bring it, you can mail it, whatever you want at the end of your spring semester. Now this only pertains to people who are not attending ETSU, but if you're going anywhere but here, Northeast State, Walter State, I can't emphasize how important this is. So please bring a copy of your unofficial transcript to me as soon as you receive your grades. The selection process is that 35 students will be accepted and 10 will be alternates for the program. And each applicant who is interviewed will receive a letter about 2 weeks after the semester ends to be informed of their acceptance, their alternate status, or not acceptance to the program. Your second written statement, question for your written statement that will be happening at your group advisement appointment is this one here. Now, many people ask, which courses should I take prior to the program? It's very important that you complete all possible general core courses that you have and all allied health courses before the program, and very helpful to complete Environmental Health 3030 and Allied Health 4060. Those are both internet courses. The program is very intense. It's didactic education. The classes are held at the NAE Center. The clinical education is a course at clinical sites. In the junior year, clinicals are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 hours per day. In the summer semester, between the junior and senior year, it's 40 hours per week for 13 weeks. And then the senior year, clinicals are Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 hours per day. The didactic education happens on the opposite days of clinical in the junior and the senior year. So it's a very busy schedule. So here's the program. Fall semester 2011, you can see that in that semester you have 13 radiography courses and you have 1 allied health course for a total of 16 credits. This spring semester 2012, you'll have 13 RAD-T credits again, plus Allied Health 4070. Now Allied Health 4010 and 4070 are only taken those semesters if you haven't already completed them in the summer or prior to then. Summer semester 2012, 6 credits of clinical. That's 40 hours per week for 13 weeks. In the fall semester and spring semester, the senior year, 2012 and 2013, the credits continue on with 10 radiography courses in the fall semester with 2 courses. Allied Health 4060 and Environmental Health 3030. That's the research and the law course. So it's very helpful to have some of these allied health courses, such as Allied Health 4060 and Environmental Health courses, completed before the program, because then you wouldn't take them at this time during that fall semester 2012. And finally, spring semester 2013 are just RAD-T courses, 12 credits of radiography credits. The final question for your written statement that you'll be asked the day of the group advisement appointment is this one here. The employment opportunities for radiographers is limited, and what we would like to know is that this is still a career option for you, and would like you to please explain your response. That's a very important question. I do have many people ask though, do our graduates find employment? And definitely yes. Our job placement rate is between 95 to 97%. So our graduates do receive good jobs, but it's not always full-time. So best wishes to you, and I'll see you soon for your group advisement appointment. Have a great day.